I mean, it sounds awesome. It sounds like there's, it sounds like there's, first of all, a lot more we can get through with you. It sounds like it's an incredible thing, an incredible tool to have, and I know it is. It just doesn't sound like it because, data. I'm preaching to the choir here to Jeff. Data is everything, and that's the only way you improve. That's the way in any sport. That's why. You hear Moneyball. That movie was all about improving by numbers. Jeff, is there anything, we want to stay to a tight schedule. We want to make sure people have enough time to answer questions. We have, I think close to 600 or 700 people on this watching this event, and we want to give people enough time to ask questions and also get to our giveaways. So don't go away yet. We will be giving away a product, and we will also be giving away all the spoilers from the last Breaking Bad. So, if that doesn't keep you, I don't know what will. Jeff, is there anything you want to wrap up with in terms of the out-season project in general, and just tell people what to think about?
Well, I mean, I guess there's a couple things I could say real quickly. One is to the what you were talking about, Moneyball and the data. There's a lot of athletes who have a great dependency on watching their data, and they have this sense of feeling that they're following the data because they have their power meter numbers or their heart rate numbers, and they upload stuff to Garmin, and they do all these things so they have access to the data. And I just want to stress that's not what we're talking about. Those are measurements of tools, but they don't dictate what the next training should be or how you should react to whatever those results are during a session. So what we're talking about is the data, the visibility of if your power numbers and your session data and your assessments are these, and your body composition, all these other factors, the data that gives you the visibility of how should that affect your training, what should you do in the upcoming training, and that's where you don't have the visibility. And in your comparison with the Moneyball, for 100 years we've had stats in baseball. It wasn't until someone came along and created a methodology for evaluating those stats and making them meaningful and predictive. And predictive analytics is what we're talking about, is where you can see things and make correlations between cause and effect of this type of training based on these numbers is going to produce this outcome. So I think, I'd stress that. So in a lot of, in our data and electronics and all the gadgets, to not confuse data of measurements and what the metrics are saying when you're looking at what you just did, but the metrics in determining what you should be doing and what you should do next. I think in the out season is another just big thing for people is taking the time to reflect and just celebrate their successes for the year, but also look at their goals going into the next year, and making sure that their values and their priorities in life are aligned with what their goals are in the sport. We see, and this is kind of the reason that I kind of initially got onto this little journey of what became Triathlon, was selfishly being a husband and a father of 3 and having a job and service in the community, all these things, but I was still a competitive, and I didn't like to lose, and I wanted to win, but I didn't want to spend too much time. So finding that balance is just so hard. So I just encourage athletes that are out there that, if you're having trouble managing, these other priorities or higher priorities, now's the time to just step back up, gain perspective, and, use your time smart. If you want to, train for these longer distances, if you're struggling to manage these other things, or, there's that, I've heard is a buddy of mine saying, why, at the end of Ironman, the kids run across the finish line with their, their mom or their dad, and they're all happy. It's because they hadn't seen them in 9 months. So it's a reunion, and so not having that kind of scenario. So kind of this time of the season, you're able to look at races and pick maybe a shorter race distance. Go, rather than iron or 70.3, do Olympic distance race, qualify for Team USA. There's all kinds of just cool goals. Go do the Draft Legal out there in Claremont with Bill. Those are just fun, exciting things you can do, and you can still, look at your purpose for the sport. Is it to be healthy, active, fit? Look good, whatever it is. You can do those in a multitude of different ways without jeopardizing the things that are really important in life. So this is the time in the out season also to do that kind of stuff. That's it.
Yeah. Jeff, why don't we